I grew up in a small town in western New York called Dunkirk. It's right on Lake Erie. I was the fifth of 5 children in 8 years. I've been in Catholic school my entire life. Well, when I was 24, I was in a car accident and I broke my neck, which had put me in a wheelchair. I have a spinal cord injury. I was independent, which I'm no longer independent. I have to depend on caregivers and people to help me. The path of your life is now, the path you had is now gone. And it's just a matter of what do you do now? What do I do now?
My mom married when I was 6, and she married an abusive husband. Just a lot of fear started, I think, developing in me as I watched and lived in that home, the abusive home, behind those closed doors and hearing screaming and knowing if my stepdad was going to come home drunk on a Friday night. And I just always felt alone, even when I was at home. I met my second husband, and you know, I grabbed onto him, and he was there, and he showed me all the things that I needed to see. And the biggest one for me was my daughter growing up without a father. I think I was in love with the fact of having a family. I wanted that more than anything because, again, that was another fear that I was running from because I didn't have that. And he did all the right things, said all the right things. There was this missing piece. And I couldn't put my finger on it, but I just knew intuitively that something wasn't right. He had an addiction. Like, I told myself I never wanted to be an alcoholic like my stepfather. And I'm an alcoholic. And then I say I don't ever want to be divorced like my mother. Or I don't ever want to be alone. And all those things that I said I never wanted to be have happened to me.
I was Catholic to 22 or 23, and I left because I had difficulty with the church and some of its teachings.
I eventually went to a mass where a priest basically said that integration wasn't going to happen in their school.
It just did not feel comfortable. It just did not feel like a place we wanted to be.
This man, as a representative of the church, wasn't talking social justice. He was saying, we're not going to have these black kids here. And I just couldn't deal with that. At which point I thought, okay, I've really had enough. And then I was away for a lot of years.
In 2010, it seemed like it was going to start off really well. And then a few days after Christmas, I was diagnosed with cancer, which really sent me into a tailspin. I also had domestic violence that happened in separation. That was really a bomb on top of a bomb. It's a fairly common phenomenon that happens to cancer patients. They become imperfect, they become expendable, they become unwanted. And I was a broken toy to my ex. And for an instant, I didn't feel like I really wanted to keep going.
We say, all right, I can do this. I don't want to do this, but I can do this, but I need some direction. And one of the teachers was the youth person for confirmation. She said, why don't you teach confirmation with me to these high school kids? I'm like, what am I going to tell these kids? Because you have a great story. You should share your faith. And that was the path God had put me on.
It was roughly 40 years of searching, really. And then a friend of mine told me about just faith. So I basically asked Rich, I said, how about if we go over and check out this Franciscan Renewal Center?
I was searching. I had tried several workshops, read so many self-help books. And through the 12-step program, I had met some people who belonged to the CASA. And my sponsor and I together did the RCIA program.
A lot of different people were asking me how I was getting through things. And I had a vision that came to me. And it's really, I felt like I was in a sea of darkness, in water that was ink black. And I was afloat on top of millions of shining stars. All these white lights that were small but shining bright, clustered together, binding together like a life raft. And I was laying on it. Those stars were all the good people. The lightness was God shining through them, supporting me. That is really what got me through. It was God and community. And that's what it's about here at the CASA.
It's my family. It's my light. It's my safe place. The interesting thing is everything that I've been afraid of has happened to me. And I'm okay. It's just, I'm okay. I'm over 50 and I'm alone. And I'm not really alone.
I think of that Easter service. You are welcome here. I so value the fact that the CASA welcomes all who want to be part of the community, and I think that is absolutely beautiful, and I hope it never ends.
There are people here, not only in Just Faith, but in the whole community, that live their faith, not just talk their faith. They just don't give money in the collection box. They go out there and help people. And that, to me, is the real faith.
I get to do something that is really fun, to watch people walk their journey through RCIA.
Through the 12-step program, we're just kind of groomed to, in order to keep it, we got to give it away.
You're going to make that trip to church because when you need to, but two, because you're giving back. And giving back is important, and the CASA is all about that.
If you have a chance to allow God to use you as an instrument to cast light on the shadow, everyone benefits.